Hello, what's up, everybody? What's going on? Welcome in. Welcome to my channel. QueenIntuitiveElle here. I'll just wait for at least one of my moderators to get up in here before I start really seminar here. But please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. I will be doing these. I'll try to do these, I think, a little more often, probably like once a month, either doing like grief, anxiety, or depression. Those are the three things that I know how to heal, give advice with, and overcome through with you guys. So if anybody's experiencing that or going through any of that, those type of some things, you could always reach out to me, email me, or book my healing session. That's on my website. I believe it's $25. So yeah, I'm here to talk about grief today. And like I said, I'm just going to wait a moment for a moderator to come in. The purpose of me to give this seminar and to talk about this. Firstly, I've dealt with grief in the past like 3 years. I've had multiple people in my family pass away. Okay. Not only that, I feel like I just had somebody pass away last month in March, but then I feel like the big trigger for me was when Nipsey Hussle passed away. For those of you who do not know who Nipsey Hussle is, he is a rapper, entrepreneur. He's a community activist. He did a lot of great things for the hip hop culture and for LA. That's where he was from, okay, the 60s. So that was a big trigger for me. Was like, dang, I think it's time to really just, get out here and share my story and also help others. Hi, Claudia. Thank you so much for being here. I'm waiting for you to be here so you can moderate for me through this seminar. So thank you so much for being here. I'll just take a moment and play a song by Nipsey real quick, and we'll just take that moment to ourselves to just kind of think over in our life times you might have dealt with grief. And grief isn't just losing somebody. It's also losing a job, losing a love, losing a relationship, divorce, financial stability, going through retirement, death of a pet, loss of a friendship, selling your family home, growing up, things like that. Okay. So give me a moment. I'm going to go ahead and play one of his great songs. I'll play, let me see. I'm going to play one of my favorites. I'll play Double Up because this is pretty popular for most people who know who he is. All right. So I'll just play this for a little moment.
I ain't telling no lies. I just,
I don't want it to be too loud. Now allow people to more come in around. Please hit the like button too as well, okay?
To you that morning, my dreams come true, my life in diamonds. Who knew? Who knew? Turn 7 to a 14, 14 to a whole thing. Lord knows it's a cold game. Switched up on you hoes, man. Big body take both lanes. Backseat blowing propane. All black, fire gold chains. Young rich nigga bossed up on his own, man. My new shit sound like a soul train. Tookie Williams over cold train. Eric B by the rope chain. RC, we for show bang. Tiny Lokes and they go crazy. What you know about the dope game? Was you born in the 80s? Did your mama smoke cocaine? Have you ever seen the whole thing? But you drove to the streets cause you grew up on show change. Fucked up when the dope bags. It remind me when these rappers drop duds and they clothes change. At the park with the low fade. I was standing in front of Knicks with my sack for the whole day. Drive-bys, I was road rage. We park and hop out, learn levels to this whole thing. Old school play the OJ, trying to make a slow change. Mama still slaving for a low wage. Trying to double up. 3 or 4 times, I ain't telling no lies, I just run it up. Never let a hard time humble us.
Double up. All right, guys. Thank you. Hey, Angel. What's up? Welcome in. How you been? I was actually manifesting you, I think, earlier because I was thinking about you a lot. So thank you so much for being here. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get to it. We're at the 5-minute mark, so I'll put that in the timestamp in the comments about when it begins, okay? So we're going to talk about grief today, all right? I'm going to share a little bit of my personal story and also just kind of go through this. So this is a safe space for you if you want to speak on your own personal matters or things you've been through with grief. So don't afraid to be like vulnerable or like shout things out, whatever, because I'm here to listen and I'm here to help you guys to get through your grieving processes. Okay. You're not alone. Multiple people are grieving or going through something in life. Okay. So, but our goal is to get through it in the safest way and the healthiest way, okay? And realizing that the symptoms and the journey you're going to go through with your grief, it's okay and it is normal, okay? Nothing is not abnormal and you're not crazy and your emotions are natural, okay? You're all human beings and we're all have emotions. We're all naturally going to fill out everything that we're going to feel, okay? And I also will say, losing somebody and a loved one, it's not easy, especially for those who may not have yet experienced it. But, even for those who may be going through like the process of knowing that a loved one is going to pass away or helping a loved one or you feel like your relationships in crumbles or things like that. That's the same thing as kind of starting to grief something. All right. So we'll start off with what is grief. Okay. Grief could be getting a divorce, going through a relationship breakup. It could be your loss of health, like, getting cancer or finding out you're being diagnosed with something, illness, any of that nature, okay? It could be the loss of a job or your financial stability being up or down, not being financially stable. It could be a miscarriage or abortion. Going through retirement, for those who are older, adjusting to life without going to work, that's a difference. That's death of a pet. If your loved one becomes ill, like your parents, your siblings, grandma, aunts, uncles, whoever. Loss of a friendship, losing friends, selling your family home, or maybe even your loss of safety, okay? We could be in environments or living somewhere and you may not feel comfortable or you may not feel safe every day, okay? Or even, after dealing with trauma, okay? If you had a traumatic experience, whether it was you or somebody in your life that had a traumatic experience and you're experiencing that with them, okay? So the 5 stages of grief, we're going to go through the 5 stages of grief, and then I'll go through kind of how to deal with grief and how to overcome it, all right? So the 5 stages of grief, or number 1 is denial and isolation, okay? So your first reaction is it's pretty normal to be in denial, to take a step back into yourself and just be like, well, no. That didn't happen. I don't believe that. I don't think this is, correct. I don't think this is right. It's normal to react like that and become like overwhelmed with emotions. This is a common defense mechanism most people use to not accept the truth. Okay. And it's just an immediate shock. Okay. But this denial period and this isolation period is very temporary and this will soon pass. I feel like when you're in the denial or isolation stage, that's when you truly kind of like, time kind of goes past. I say within a few weeks to a month, then it starts, reality will start to set in for you. And then that's when you kind of start going into knowing that it is real. It's not, you're not in shock no more over the loss, okay? It's just a temporary stage of going through the shock of the pain and getting through the wave of pain, okay? And then for number 2, it's going to be anger. And now this is a very big one, okay? I know it was really big for me, especially. I felt like, I'll say my mom passed away almost 3 years ago. It was April 27th. So And that was my first time dealing with grief ever. I was 22 years old, like fresh 22, and I had lost my mom. And I was like, I could say that before my mom passed, I kind of had anger issues, but I never really noticed it like that, or I never really realized like how bad it was. Maybe I might have just seen it as, oh, maybe I was just being a brat, or like just kind of wanting to have things my way all the time. But when my mom passed away, which is also normal, you know, I turned to like alcohol. So, and I wasn't really an alcohol drinker ever growing up. I was a pothead, okay? Like I used to smoke weed like crazy, but then like my mom really hated it. Like she hated I smoked weed. She was always telling me, oh, Alicia, you're too pretty, you're too smart to smoke weed. You're burning all your brain cells, you know, you're going to college and you're going to be a dummy. Like, you know, and I'm just like, nah, like I'm chilling. And I felt like as I got a little older, like maybe like 18 and 19 and really into college, she kind of like backed off me and didn't really like pressure me about it as much anymore, because like I graduated high school, you know, I was a okay kid. Like, you know, I wasn't the best. She don't know shit I was doing behind her back, you know, but you know, kids, we explore, whatever. And but back to the point, it was a trigger for me when she passed away. Like I was straight up just like, I don't want to smoke weed no more. And at the time I was also selling drugs. I was selling weed, I was selling pills. So I was like, it was like as soon as my mom like kind of had her first seizure and she hit the hospital, I was just like turned away from all of drugs. It was just like, and it was just like something naturally inside of me. I just woke up and it was just like a respect, like a whole different type of respectism came on. It was like how I wanted to honor my mom, and kind of setting into the reality that she might pass away was like, I don't ever want to smoke weed again. Right. But then, you know, that habit turned into another habit, which was anger and alcohol. And I became like a straight fucking alcoholic for like at least a year. Okay. At least a year. So anger is number two. So anger sets in when reality sets in. All right. And your pain reemerges about it. Okay. Your anger starts going outward in intimate objects, complete strangers, friends, family. And then you also become kind of guilty for being angry, which also can kind of make you even more angrier. Okay. Excuse me. So, you know, don't think that the people around you don't know what's going on or don't see you changing, because they do. And it's hard. For those of you who may be dealing with somebody who is grieving, I know it may be hard to kind of, talk to somebody, talk to them, the person grieving, and tell them like, hey, maybe you should try therapy, or maybe you should slow down on your drinking, or, you know, you kind of been lashing out, you know. And, you know, as a griever, they're going to give you those excuses like, oh, well, you know, it's not an excuse, but they're going to be like, you know, well, how'd you feel if your mom passed? Well, how would you feel if, you know, you were going through this? How would you feel if, you know, your grandma got cancer and things like that? You know, it's kind of the more of the what if and the how do you feel. It starts to get into number three, which is bargaining, you know, and it's normal. You know, you kind of have to just support people that are grieving and allow them to ride it out, and also not judge them, but still kind of be a good support system for them. Okay. Never let them make, you know, super bad decisions at all, but also allow them to go through the normal cycle of their grief, okay, until they feel like they are ready. I had friends tell me, hey, like you're drinking a lot. I had friends tell me like, oh, are you okay? Like I was so stressed out. I lost a lot of weight. You know, they're like people were like, is she okay? You know, she's like really tiny, tiny. Like I was really tiny. Like I was the smallest I had ever been since like high school. And even though I was working out and like I was trying to like lose weight, like my skin was like pale. Like I looked very pale from all just the liquor and just kind of dehydration. Like I would go to the gym drunk at 3 o'clock in the morning just so I could get my workout in. Like that is not safe and that is not healthy. Okay. But you know, people knew what I was going through and they allowed me to kind of write it out. They, you know, the things that you tell them, they're not overlooking them, because I did listen. Like I did hear my friends like kind of like, oh, maybe you should try therapy. Maybe you should slow down your drinking, you know, but it was like, it was never until I was ready in that moment to be like, okay, I'm going to go to therapy now, you know? So I had to kind of ride it out, you know, and I read it out through my reality. But number three of depression is going to be bargaining. Okay. So this is when people start making, if only type statements. All right. So if only we had sought medical attention sooner, if only we had a second opinion, if only we had been a better person towards somebody, say somebody might have passed away, or say somebody got into a car accident or something, and the last thing you might have talked to with that person, it could have been an argument, or it could have been, not the best terms, but you can't feel like guilty about that. You can't feel like you have to feel this guilt or regret inside of you because you might have lost somebody, or somebody's going through something, and maybe you guys aren't on the best of terms, okay? Because at the end of the day, God has a plan for each and every one of us. He has a journey for each and every one of us. And, there's a reason for everything, all right? I also felt that as well. Why would I felt the whys too. I questioned God, why did he take my mom from me? Like, I was too young, I felt like I was just like, I need my mom. Like, I didn't grow up with a father. I still haven't met my father to this day. And I just felt so cheated. I felt like, what the fuck? Like, that's not right. Like, I wasn't ready. But as I started to accept it more, and realized, I was like, okay, well, at least I'm 22. I'm at an age where I know better. I'm at an age of adulthood and actually being able to know how to pay bills, or know how to, I was working. I took 3 months off when she passed, but, I was working. So it was like, I knew how to be an adult. I was at an age where it was time to grow the fuck up, right? So, at first I was in denial of it, like I was cheated and this and that. But then eventually, you start to put it in perspective and reality, like, no, it's okay. And then that's when you start to kind of talk to yourself and just say, well, what would my mom do? Or what would my dad do? What would my grandma do when things start to happen in your life? And you think about what they taught you or instilled in you. And you also start to think about, how you can, or you should, I would say you should think about, what you would do to make them proud, or what you would do to help elevate them, all right, their name and their traditions and their legacy, okay? Now, number 4 is depression, okay? The depression part, all right? Oh, wait, I had a few more things about bargaining. Oh, yeah, some people may also try to, make a deal with God. Sorry, I'm, looking at my notes. But some people may try to make a deal with God or, your higher power to postpone the inevitable, or accompany your pain, guilt, or you could start to believe, there's something you could do differently. But like I said already, it's just God's say and God's way. Okay. So number 4 of the stages of grief, we're on number 4 now. So number 1, let's go back through it. So number 1 was denial, isolation. Number 2 is anger. Number 3 is bargaining. And number 4 is depression. Okay. And, when grieving, you need to know the difference between actually grieving and then actual depression. Now, when you go through grief, you will hit the depression stage. That was just like me when I was turning to my alcohol. It's just me being depressed. Depression, people can be, loss of appetite. It can be gain of appetite. It could be loss of weight, gain of weight. It could be anger. Depression is also an anxiety. Depression could be feeling hopeless, sleeping too much or not sleeping enough. It's a change in your habits. You may not do things that normally you would normally do to keep you happy, or just your normal routine. So depression comes along, and the best way, to be honest, to ride out with depression would be to feel your emotions naturally, but to also to just get help. Go out there, seek therapy, seek supportive friends, kind of maybe a support group. Whatever it is that you can do to get you through this time of grief. And then number 5 is acceptance, okay? You'll get to a point of accepting reality. You'll get to a point of accepting life as it is. And then you'll start to, move through. and complete your journey. Okay. So I'm going to go through a few things about how to deal with grief. And then I also have an article from the Huff Post. It's kind of through Dr. Phil. I liked it. I'll put this link right here in the chat for you guys if you want to go through it with me. But first, let me go through the kind of how to deal, okay? So how to deal with grief is acknowledging your pain, number one. Number two is accept that grief can trigger any different or unexpected emotions, okay? Number three is understand that your grieving process is unique to you, okay? Everybody grieves differently. And the 5 stages of grief, people may go through them differently too as well. There's 5 different stages. That doesn't mean those are the 5 ways you're going to go through it. No, you may flip and flop and back with them, all right? Number 4 is to seek out face-to-face support from people who care about you, okay? Not that crazy ex-boyfriend that wants to hit you upside the head all the time or feed into your shit, okay? That's not who's the person to support you, okay? Or those friends that just, support mainly your bad habits of your grief. That's not who you want around you, okay? Or people that may want to take advantage of your vulnerability of being in grief, okay? You have to be very, very careful of that when you're grieving because it's going to be a lot of that would happen, okay? Number 5 is support yourself emotionally to take care of yourself physically, okay? I'll reread that. Number 5, support yourself emotionally to be taking care of yourself physically, okay? You have to remember to still get up and keep going through life. Get up out of bed, eat, drink water, stay hydrated, take a walk. Okay. Just, small things, talk to your family. Don't isolate yourself too much, continue to talk to people. Because, there's people there that will care about you. There's people that will be there to talk to you. So don't ever get in a place of too much, just all in yourself or all in your head, because you have to think it out, get a journal, seek an advisor, a therapist, a counselor, support groups, whatever it takes to kind of get through your process, okay? And then number 6 is recognize, the difference between grief and depression, okay? Alrighty, so I don't know if you guys have any questions or anything that you guys want to add into that, but I hope this is helping. I hope this is something that will help you guys get through grief. Like I said, just fill out your emotions naturally, go through your 5 steps of it, as you feel, and, you will get through it. You will overcome it. Things will get better in time. Some people, they say, oh, in time it heals. No, it really doesn't. It still hurts every fucking day, but, excuse my language, but, you just learn to cope. You learn to continue to go through life, at your pace. You may also, I just say keep affirmations with you, keep positivity with you, keep God first in your life, or whatever higher power or religion or culture that you are, to help guide you. I truly feel like, after the first loss of like my mom, I was able to have God, and I was able to go back to him. Go back to God. I have been so out there and just worldly in this complete sinner, and I'm not perfect. Everybody sins differently, and I still sin to this day. But I truly just try to keep God first. I keep things I do great. Starting this channel even helped me like to get better and to grieve better, and to the fact of me helping people and finding my life purpose. After, my mom passing, I really I've soul searched for like a year, like when I was even so messed up in my head. When I started to have my epiphany, and I finally went to therapy, and I started to soul search, and I became spiritual. And, that's when I was able to find my purpose. And having your life purpose, having a vision, having a plan, then that's when my life really to start to feel normal and kind of feel a lot more happier, because I was receptive to myself. I knew what I want. I know what I want. I'm going to go get it and I won't stop. And, I'm helping others as well through this journey. I'm not keeping what I've been through a secret, because it's not a secret, and someone else out there needs to hear this. Okay. They need this. Okay. You could be a couch potato, and you can't go to therapy. You can't seek out your friends. You can't seek out anybody, but you got me. I'm here, listen to this as much as you want. I won't delete it. And, move on forward. All right. So this is the last article and thing I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to go through. So this is on the Huffington Post. I posted it here in the live. I'll also post it down, below down in the about section on this video. So it says 9-step action plan for overcoming loss and grief. Okay. There's a quote here by Dr. Phil. It says, "You can love, lose, and survive. You can fall to your knees and cry in pain. You can feel a horrible, crippling emptiness, yet recover and fill yourself up again. We all seem to survive it." And that's by Dr. Phil. Okay. So he talks about the 9-step plan for overcoming grief and loss. There's maybe some things I've repeated from how to deal. So the number one is being patient with yourself. Okay. Give yourself time to accept what has happened. There's no schedule of when you should feel certain emotions, and stand up for yourself. And when you choose, you have to continue to choose and move on with your life. Okay. And it's normal to cry, be depressed, and go MIA from a certain amount of time, but just know that you'll survive and you'll gain strength to get through what you're going through. Number two is adjust your expectations. All right. Adjust your expectations. Don't put expectations on yourself, excuse me, or others. Okay. You're going to feel all these emotions. Just remember that, it's normal, and grief is remember that grief from any loss is not a linear process, okay? You'll begin to move at your own time. Don't think that you're moving faster or slower than somebody, it's at your own pace. Number three, accept what you cannot change. So that's what I said, getting to that acceptance phase, okay? Things are out of your control, and that's okay. You cannot control things. You can't control when people leave you. You're not a victim. You just have to, or at least you don't have to be, okay? Get to a point where you can choose to stand, how you're going to react to this, and allow your reactions to be safe and healthy, but know that you can focus on changing and accepting what happened, okay? Number four is find strength in others, okay? You're not alone. Find strength in others who are compassionate and that will be vulnerable with you as well, especially when you're in the dark hours, okay? Or you feel like you're in the dark. Number five is don't get stuck. This is important, man. Don't get stuck in your grief and loss. Don't get stuck in life. Don't get stuck in, the sadness or the process of this. You have to get over it. Don't get stuck in angerness or bitterness, okay? What can you do to get unstuck it's going to be different from everyone, but take up a new hobby, okay? Start a new hobby. Go for a walk, counseling, talk to your doctor if you need antidepressants that may help you. I believe in antidepressants. I do. If you need to do that, do it, okay? This grief may cause you to be biochemically unbalanced, and medication may be the short-term jump to help you move forward, okay? All right. If you've dealt with addictions, like I said, don't turn to any type of narcotics. Alcohol really doesn't soothe the pain. It just makes it worse. So just continue to get help. Number six is recognize that time is infinite, okay? There's wisdom in an old saying about living every day as though it were your last, okay? Straight up like that. That doesn't mean that you should go out and be reckless, but rather recognize that the unexpected can happen to you or anybody at any other time. Okay, nurture the relationships that you have with your loved ones. Number seven, create value from this experience. Create value from this experience, okay? Take the time to ask yourself what you've learned from going through this experience, and that there's value in all experiences, okay? I'm going to touch on that. There's a lot of value from these experiences, okay? People tend to tell me all the time, like, I don't get it. How strong are you? Or how you get through this? Or how do you do it? Or, you're not dependent or like this or that. I'm like, look, I'm not strong every day. I've had times I fell down on my knees and cried. I've had times I've had panic attacks. I've had times where I've had anxiety attacks. I've had mental breakdowns. I've thrown shit. I've socked walls. I've done some crazy shit. Okay. I'm not like, strong every day. Okay. But I had to create value from the experience. Like I was just saying a little bit earlier in this video, like I had to live out my mother's legacy. I had to, I give back now. I help people. I share my story. Okay. I can't live in the dark too much. All right. I brought value into my situation. All right. And I'm able to help other people. That's when you go through things and you get through it. Now you've experienced that in your life and now you're going to help someone else. Okay. And number 8, think about how you will prepare for your own death. Oh shit, that's deep. So yeah, think about that. Start to make a will, get your life insurance policies. I say this all the time. People can go out and buy a Gucci belt or buy jewelry or buy shit, but y'all don't even got a life insurance policy. And then when somebody passes away, this is real shit. And when somebody passes away, you want to do a GoFundMe. Like, no, you gotta have your life prioritized in order. Okay. Anything can happen to us at any moment in time, and knock on wood, I'm just saying, like, your building could collapse right now. You want to be prepared for your own exit plan. You want to prepare your children for when you're gone. Okay. This says, for examples, you can make videos for your kids, share advice about life and what your hopes and dreams are for them. Okay. It's crazy because, my mother really prepared me and my sister for her passing. We had no idea. We had no fucking idea she was gonna go, okay? But I promise you, when she went, everything was set up for us. I was blessed, okay? I'm blessed to this day. I had a beautiful mother. I had a strong, independent Black mother, okay? And she prepared me and my sister to the T. So, and it's a, what's it called? What's it called? A temptation, whatever. Commandment. Honor your father and thy mother. And because, we honored our mom, we honored what we do, I'm blessed every day and I'm blessed throughout my life. I can honestly, humbly say that though, because I know that I did right by my parents. So if you feel like you're not doing right by your parents, I know they get on your nerves. You're going to get into it, this, that, but just no matter what you do every day in your heart, just make sure you do it out of good and you do it within the best intentions, okay? Even if you may not have had a parent that was the best parent to you, or they may not have knew how to be a parent, no matter what you do, you pray for them, and you still, you get your own help of your trauma, and you have to just do your best and do right by them, all right? Number 9, celebrate life, okay? It's a tragic injustice if all you do is focus on the day you lost your loved one or their illness, accident, or death. Not only is it painful, it doesn't help you heal or move on. You can and need to mourn their passing, but do not do that to the exclusion of celebrating their life, okay? Life doesn't stop that people pass away. So try to adapt the attitude that says the only time is now. I need to live in the moment. Okay. So just live in the moment. I definitely celebrated my life, my mother's life, her passing actually brought my family back together after being very dysfunctional and very split up for 10 years. Okay. Because my grandfather had passed away in like 2003. And that's when I was a child, but I could feel the distance. I could feel the shift and dynamic in my family. But when my mom passed away, unfortunately, it was like a blessing in disguise, because now me and all my cousins, our generation, were very close. Okay. The older people, now they're crazy. Okay. We love them to death, but they a little dysfunctional. They're very crazy, but we're able to learn from those experiences, and we're able to celebrate life and go through life differently now, with our generation, and to build a bond and to continue out and to live life. And I celebrate my mom's life every day. I do things she would have never done. Okay. I love to travel. I love to just be kind of not spontaneous, but I don't mind trying something at least once, safely, safe things, not no crazy shit, but try things at least once. and kind of just live life. Because I know, like, every day I think about that low key in the back of my head. Like, you know, she's not here to do it, so I got to do it. And I got to make her proud. And she's looking over me every day. I know your people, your folks are looking over you every day. Pay attention to the signs. Pay attention to the signals, because they are there. And they will help and guide you. All right. So thank you guys so much for being here with me through this seminar. I really, really hope you got something out of it. Please comment below what you think. Please comment below your experiences if you like as well. Hit the like button, please. Subscribe to my channel. Let me know. Hit the bell so you know when I'm here. And also, you know, comment below and let me know if there's other things you want me to talk about or touch on. You know, if it's like I said, I do anxiety and depression too as well. But if you feel like there's something here I didn't really touch on or that you need more information about, comment below and I'll make another one and we can get through it and talk through it. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. I appreciate it. Yes, Angel, I'm gonna make a new live right now and I can answer questions. Okay. So go ahead and join me in the next live. All right. Thank you so much, Gemini and Claudia and Angel for being here. I appreciate you guys. I love you so much. Take care.